Hello everyone. Let me check all of my devices first to make sure we're going live in the right group. So we should be in the Summer of Magic. Hello everyone. You probably hear my Alexa go off in the back. So let's see. I think we are actually live. So hello everyone. We're going to wait for some people to come in. I know it is just starting at 3 p.m. and a lot of people are just getting notified that I am going live. So let's go ahead and pull this up so I can see. I'm going to write a comment in here just to get the comments starting. So start off. Hey Jan. So I posted a question in the thread just to get us moving and get some comments going on. I wish there was a way I could create a poll, but there's not. Oh wait, there is. Hold on. Let me see if I can create a poll. Hold on. I don't know. Okay. Let's see if this would work. Does that work? I'm not even know if this poll thing works. We're gonna see. Hello Kristen, how are you? Hoping everybody can come in and join me live. So we're gonna, if you guys can see that poll that I created, let me know. I'm not sure, that's a new thing for me. Hello Amanda, hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to be together for about 45 minutes, an hour. We're going to be talking about how to work with graveyards. Hello Christina, how are you? How to work with graveyard workings and graveyard dirt. Hello Marissa, so glad you guys can join me live. I don't see it yet. It may not show up, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that works. But I may have to like set it, or I don't know how to do that. So we are going to see what happens. But if not, I posted a question in there, so answer the question. Hello Danielle, hello Gina, how are you? Yes, Christina says she has done some magical workings in graveyard. So make sure you comment and let me know where you are watching from, and also if you're catching the replay, because replay people are just as important. But I want to give a shout out to everybody who has taken some time out of their busy day on a Wednesday and joining me live. I know it's kind of hard to catch us at 3 o'clock in the middle of the week, so shout out to everybody who has joined me live. I will get you pinned. Awesome. Thanks, Christine. I'm not sure how that worked. I just saw that come up as an option, and I was like, hell yeah. Let's try to create a poll. So I have a little bit of show and tell for you too, so stay with me to the end because I have some prizes that I'm going to be giving away and some freebies. If you look at the description, you will see the links to everything that I am offering right now. And so if you stay to the end, I got some freebies for you. Amanda said here on Sunshine Coast in cold Australia. Oh, you're coming in from Australia. Nice. Jen's in Oklahoma. You're not that far from me anymore, Jen. And Danielle's from Iowa. I don't think you're that far from me either in Iowa. I just moved from Austin to a small town right outside Kansas City. So I'm kind of in the middle of everything right now. So I don't think I'm that far from y'all. So we need to do a witchy meetup for sure. All the gatherings, Christina would be down for that, right? So let me introduce myself to you. You guys are probably, if you're new to me and who I am, my name is Madam Z. I'm a magical life coach, female empowerment leader, and high priestess of my Witch Academy and Madam Z School of Witchery. Yeah, just like I'm not. I don't think you are anymore. So we need to schedule a meetup. We all need to schedule a meetup in Christina's group, so we can all hang out. I just went with Christina last weekend, and we had a good time at the Metaphysical Fair in Kansas City. So we're like, we need to do some more meetups, in-person stuff, because I think people are really really wanting to be in person and get the energy. Yeah, Danielle says that sounds great. I know. So I have been witching for a long time, 30 plus years before the internet was even here. So if you guys are an OG witch, give me some thumbs up. If you are new to witching, give me some hearts. Let's get this conversation going. Let's get some algorithms boosted. Let's get some conversations going. I'm all about conversations. I'm all about teaching. I'm all about getting energy moving in this space. So Danielle, I think you all have 4 to 5 hours. See, we're not that far from each other. I think all of us can probably schedule a trip together and just hang out. Witchy weekend coming up. So perfect. So I have been teaching and doing magic for 30 plus years, before witching was even cool, before it was the thing to be a witch, even before the craft, even before it was mainstream. I started off as a Christian, left that, started off Wicca, left that, created my own magic, and so now I probably really relate to the word eclectic witch, or the phrase eclectic witch. I pull from all kinds of pantheons, all kinds of magic, all kinds of way of doing magic, and I just don't stick to one way of doing things. Is anybody here can relate to that? Give me some hearts if you guys can relate to not following the rules in witchcraft. That is what I teach in my online academy, and that is what I teach with my students, is to create your own special magic that works for your energy frequency, your vibe, and screw what everything else is in the books. I want to help you create your magic that resonates with you. So that way you can create magic that resonates with you. Very eclectic. Christina says she's very eclectic. Yeah. That way when you create magic that resonates with you and your frequency, your ancestors, what you believe in, you have zero resistance against how powerful you can be, or resistance against doing the magic. For example, I was doing heart chakra work, right? And I've told this story a million times. But the heart chakra color green has never resonated with me. Never, ever. So whenever I was doing heart chakra work on myself, on my clients, I felt some resistance because I couldn't tune into that color frequency. I couldn't tune into that frequency of what the heart chakra represented because I was envisioning it with the color green. So when I was like, screw this, I'm not following the color green. I'm going to do what I'm being called to do. It resonates with me. And that has always been the color pink for heart chakra work. And I always use rose quartz for heart chakra work. So once I blew that, out of the water of, oh, it has to be green, my heart chakra energy just opened up. My workings and my healings with my clients in heart chakra work just opened up completely. Zero resistance. So that's what I teach in my my clients and in my High Priestess Academy. I forgot to drop a link in my High Priestess Academy. Let me drop a link for that too. Because I want you to get all the goodies. I want you to be in the know of where I'm hanging out at, what I'm doing. Lots of stuff is coming up for me. You can work with me in so many different ways. And I want to make sure that you know where to find me, because I am here to help you in your craft. We're going to be talking about graveyard workings. I am kind of a weird witch. I like dark magic. There is no light or dark magic, and we need to work on our reprogramming of light and dark magic. It is your intentions that you put behind what your magic is. Danielle said, that makes sense to me. If you're not feeling it, it's not going to work well. Bingo, exactly, you got it. Choosing your correspondences and symbols is so powerful. Yeah, me and Christina touched on that this weekend, right? A little bit about creating stuff that works with us. So we had some great conversations this weekend. So yeah, let's get weird. And Jen said, I love to play in the dark. Yeah, I do too. And a lot of people get kind of weirded out, and they have, oh, you're not of the love and light, so you must be of the devil. and you must, you know, conjure up demons, and that's a whole other class I need to teach on, is demons and demonology, because I am a certified demonologist. I'm a paranormal investigator, and I do house blessings, house cleansings, and I also do exorcisms. You can do exorcisms of houses, people, things, places, land. It doesn't necessarily have to be a person, and it's not what you think it is. So yeah, all my dark witches, hello, welcome. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about graveyard workings. I know a lot of people are new here to graveyard workings. They're kind of like, I don't know where to start, what to do. So let's go ahead and get into the meat of the teachings today. So what is graveyard workings? So as witches, and if you don't resonate with the word witch, just resonate with whatever you resonate with. For me, it's witches. For other people, it could be healers, alchemists, creatrix, goddesses, energy workers, you know, divine energy workers, you know, light workers, light beings, whatever it is you resonate with, just plug that in. For me, it's witch, but just plug whatever in works with you. I hate labels. So just leave the labels behind. Insert where you feel you are found, right? So as witches, we are prone to be drawn to spirits and the dead. Can I get a, you know, hands up, thumbs up, hearts up for that? Is anybody here attached to spirits and dead things and bones and graveyards and Ouija boards? And I've got so many bones and so many dead things around here. It's interesting. So graveyard working is no exception. This is why I love paranormal investigations. I'd rather deal with spirits who have passed through than deal with the living. Right? So, but rules and guidelines need to be followed, just like when you're working with Ouija boards. You just can't go all willy-nilly and just pull out a Ouija board and just work with it and get scared and just put it under your bed and hope everything would just be fine, because it's not. There's protocols and there's things in place that you need to do in order to work with Ouija boards. So let me catch up with comments before we start. Wanza, yes, can't wait to learn and play in the dark more. Yay, Amanda, so excited. Yes, I'm drawn to bones for sure, especially wild forged bones. Yes, labels have a negative connotation. It really does, Danielle. Kind of put you in a box. And as witches, we don't like to put in boxes because they used to keep us in boxes, right? That's a witch wound that we need to talk about too later on. So we use graveyards to honor our ancestors. I work with my ancestors every day, and I honor them every day. I don't do spirit communications, and I don't do anything unless I have approval from my ancestors. So I will call in my ancestors for guidance, for protection, and to make sure that I'm going in the right direction. So we also use graveyards to connect with loved ones, sacred space, spell work, and connecting with Mother Nature and Mom Gaia. A lot of people are probably like, you connect with Mom Gaia at the cemetery or graveyard? Yeah, that's the most peaceful place that you can work on when you're doing rituals, or when you're trying to connect and hear the trees, or connect with Mother Nature, or connect with the wind. That is where you're going to connect the easiest at, is in the graveyard, because it's silent. You can hear everything once you get tuned in. So many messages, because you don't have the outside world distracting you with the horns and the traffic and the people and the cell phones and all these notifications going off. You shut all that down, you get centered, you get tuned in, you dial up. You are there at the moment to listen to what Mom Gaia and the messages are there for you to hear. So how do you enter a graveyard? Did you know that there's rules to enter a graveyard? You just can't bust in. It's like you just can't bust in someone else's house, right? You can't, throw open the door and say, I'm here. there's protocols, because you want to treat spirits just like they are people, because they are still here. They're just on a different plane. Okay? I only accept silk and velvet lined coffins. Me too, right? I don't even want to be buried. Does anybody here want to be buried? So type in the comments buried if you guys want to be buried in coffins. That's interesting. That's an interesting subject, Christina. Because I don't want to be buried. I want to be put in like a pod or something like that so I can reincarnate as a tree or something. So, yeah, I'd like to see if... No, cremated. Yeah. Cremated for sure. Yeah. Cremated by fire, right? Because we always like fire. So let's talk about how to approach a graveyard. So you must ask permission from the gatekeeper to enter. There is a spirit. And you're like, Madam Z, what is a gatekeeper? So I teach all this in the paranormal stuff and the graveyard workings in my academy, and I teach this to my students. There are spirits there, old spirits that are in charge of letting people come in and not come in. They are the gatekeeper of that sacred ground. If they don't like you, you cannot pass. And if you go in there without asking permission, if you go in there without being respectful to them, your experience at that graveyard, at that sacred site, is going to be terrifying. It's not going to be fun, and it's going to spoil your experience with wanting to work in the graveyard. So you want to introduce yourself and state your intentions. So you want to say something like, hello spirits, Madam Z here. I just want to hang out. I just want to sit down. I don't mean you any harm. May I enter? Or I'm just here to connect with this grave. I'm here to do some ancestor work. I am here to get insight. I am here to connect with the grave. Is that okay? May I enter? And then that's when you can use your pendulum, you can use your inner voice, your inner wisdom, your clairs, you can use your dowsing rods, your tarot cards, and they will tell you, yes, you may enter, or you may get a no, and you may get a feeling like, no, ooh, I can't go in right now. Then you respect that. Before you enter, you want to knock 3 times before entering. This is like knocking on a door. Say, I'm warning you, if you guys are naked having sex, I'm coming on in. Put some clothes on. I'm about to enter. Whatever y'all are doing, stop doing, because I'm about to enter, right? Can I come in? So when you get the okay to enter from the gatekeeper, place 3 coins at the gate's threshold. Now I do 3 coins, but you can do other things like cornmeal or tobacco or lavender. Whatever you need to do as an offering that you have, you need to offer that to the gatekeeper. Okay? And then you can enter the graveyard and give thanks. So, okay, thank you for letting me in, and then you can start your workings. All right? No coffin, we have an ancestral lake for my family and put it into ashes. Oh, nice. We don't have an ancestral. I come from travelers, so we travel all over. So we don't have like an ancestral plot. We're just kind of buried all over the place. And we have, a lot of my grandparents are buried in Connecticut. My uncle just died. He's buried in Arkansas. We have military people buried all over the place. So we just don't have a family plot. We're just kind of scattered everywhere, right? So yes, Marissa said I've heard of lavender before. So this is what I do, and you feel into this, and this is what I teach in my academy and to my students. Feel into what your magic and your ancestors are telling you, where to go. For me, I usually find the oldest grave in the cemetery is usually the gatekeeper. That's usually the oldest grave. That's usually the ones who are put there first to watch over all the spirits. So I always head immediately to the far left of the graveyard cemetery, in the back corner. That's always where I'm drawn to. That's always where I start. But you can really start anywhere where you're being pulled. You're like, okay, I'm being pulled in the middle. I'm being pulled in, the front. I'm being pulled to this grave. Follow your instincts. Step into your high priestess energy. Know that where you are supposed to be led to, you need to follow. And don't second guess this. Just follow and lead where you need to go. Take a moment to kind of wander around and explore the grounds in the cemetery or the graveyard. If you have a new cemetery, you're not connected to it, and you're open, and you're like, I just want to get a feel for this cemetery. I just want to walk around. I just want to see what grave calls to me, because I'm not being called to a particular grave right now. I just want to get a spiritual feel or an energy feel for the cemetery graveyard. Listen to the sounds, to the voices, and to nature, and they will guide you to where you need to go. So here are some things that you can do in a graveyard. And a lot of my students are like, why would I want to go to the graveyard? What do you do in the graveyard? What's so special about the graveyard? You know, so things that you can do in the graveyard. You don't have to do any spiritual workings at all. There's a lot of times where I'm just like, I want some peace and quiet. I just want to go sit on a bench in the graveyard and just watch Mom Gaia, watch the flowers, watch the birds, watch the woodland creatures, and just sit and be still and be in my feminine divine energy and just receive things. Okay, you don't have to do any workings. You can just sit still and receive. You can also do historical research. Now, when I moved to my new home outside of Kansas City, my house is an old craftsman style home. This house was built in 1908. So what I did, I contacted the Historical Research Society because I bought this house. I wasn't even living here. I was living in Austin. So I didn't have access to that. So what I did is I researched everybody that was attached to this house, birth records, death records, funeral, what they did. I had them pull every single record I can attach that energy to this house and to those people who lived here. And then I found out that the people who lived here are buried in a cemetery here. So I will eventually go to that cemetery. I went to that cemetery just to ride around and connect, but I didn't go there to find the grave yet. So eventually I will find that grave. The man and the woman, the wife and the husband, are buried together. And so I will send some offerings there when I'm ready to go there. Historical research is important when you're trying to find out what happened to a particular grave. You want to listen for answers. You can meditate. You can feel the energy. You can give offerings, clean up and restore a grave, sit with the grave, collect graveyard dirt. You can journal. You can do divination. You can do rituals. You can charge tools, amulets, whatever you're connected with and what you use. You can practice mediumship, spirit communication. So there's a lot of things that you can do. Hello, Sylvie. Sorry if I butchered your name. I'm sorry. So let's catch up on comments. So Amanda said they have started a really cool placing cremated remains in shells to place in the ocean, and the coral grows all over you. See, that's interesting. That would be people who resonate with water or, like water signs. That would not resonate with me because I don't like the ocean and I don't like the water, right? I'd rather be in the earth. I'd rather be in a cabin. So, but that's interesting. You can do that and turn into a coral, which is also about being one with nature and one with Mom Gaia, right? And giving back to the life of the ocean life. So Danielle said, I also have family buried all over as well. Yeah, we're kind of scattered too, right, Danielle? So Jen said, my extended family is all buried. Appalachian immediate farm is here. Interesting. I always find that interesting that people have family plots. And they always are buried back in the family plot. So Christina said, very neat. It is actually Sylvia. No worries. I hope I got that right. Right, Sylvia? Did I get that? I hope I got that right. So let's keep on talking about graveyard magic. So now, what kind of offerings? We talked about lavender and we talked about the 3 coins. So let's talk a little bit about what you can use for offerings when you do graveyard magic. So, flowers. Everybody puts flowers on graves. You know that. Coins, especially when you're Jewish, you will see the Jewish tradition. Well, that's stones. We usually see the Jewish tradition putting stones down. But coins is another one. Tobacco, especially if you know that you are trying to connect with a Native American grave or Native American spiritual or hallowed ground. Liquor, cornmeal, perfume, food, sacred smudging, prayers, feathers, sacred water like moon water, or any kind of running water, or any kind of water that is attached to that person, right? Maybe that person was a fisherman or liked the lake, right? So you want to offer them some lake water. So trinkets, pictures, pictures, bones, stones, branches, and twigs. Find something, if you want to challenge yourself, find something out in the graveyard that nature has provided for you to give to as a offering. That's your challenge, right? Ask Mom Gaia, ask the graveyard, ask the spirits, please provide me something that I can use for an offering, and see what Mother Nature and the spirits have given you to offer as an offering. That's very challenging. You must have been making tinctures recently. Yeah, I was. Money tinctures. All right, so any questions so far? Sweets and desserts, another one. Yeah, cakes. Candy is another one. Right? That's a good one, Christine. Love that one. Any questions so far about the workings? Type in the comments if you have any questions so far. I'm going to keep going. So, how to collect graveyard dirt. And a lot of people are just, ew, Madam Z, I don't want to collect graveyard dirt. Why do I want to collect graveyard dirt? That's just kind of sacrilegious. That's horrible. Why do I want to dig in the dirt? This is part of using the graveyard dirt in your spell work. Okay? So, how do you collect graveyard dirt? You find a grave that speaks to you. All right? Sit with that grave and ask questions. Do some divination. Ask if you can take some dirt from their grave. Spoon a few scoops of dirt into a container. I usually use a glass container, but it doesn't really matter. Those pill bottles, if you take medication, those leftover pill bottles are really good to have. And even the little jar or mason jars are really good to have, and jelly jars are good to have. Always keep a sacred spoon that is used just for graveyard dirt collecting. Always keep jars, always keep bottles, always keep something in your trunk, because you never know when you are being pulled to go to a graveyard and say, all right, I'm on traveling, I want to go to this graveyard, let's stop, but you don't have any way to collect that graveyard. Always keep offerings. I don't care if it's 3 coins, a pinch of cornmeal, tobacco, whatever it is. You have coins, you have some type of offering, a sacred spoon, or any kind of way to collect the dirt that is just designated for that. I usually try to get a silver spoon when I'm collecting dirt, okay, and then containers. So spoon a few scoops of dirt into the container, give thanks, give an offering, and be respectful. And what I usually do is when I collect graveyard dirt, there's like a hole there, right? So I just take a couple scoops. You don't want to take a whole bunch. You don't want to take, like, you know, a big huge cup full. Just a couple spoons, just a couple teaspoons full. I always put my offering back in that hole and then cover it up. So I'll put my coins in there if I need to. I'll put lavender in there if I need to. I'll put some sacred smudge in there. I'll put some, what else? A cornmeal in there, or tobacco. And then I'll cover it up and I'll say thank you. So whatever you are taking away from that grave, you need to fill back up as an offering. And that's what I usually do. Let me look at comments. I love going to cemeteries. Could you talk about the difference between graveyard and cemetery dirt? I always get these mixed up. Okay, graveyards are attached to churches. Cemeteries are not. So it just depends on what you are connected to. It depends on the graveyard and the cemetery dirt, right? Okay, so graveyards are attached to churches. I don't follow a religion, so I really don't connect with having graveyard dirt attached to a church or an organized religion. Although there's always exceptions to the rules, right? There's always exceptions. Do what you want to in your magic. If it is an historical figure, or if it is an old person of historical value, or an old church, then I will go in there and hollow ground. And here's another thing. You don't necessarily have to pick dirt or harvest dirt from a specific grave. You could always harvest dirt just from that cemetery or graveyard, which just go to the back corner, go to the front corner, whatever it is, and just pick up grave dirt from that graveyard or cemetery. It doesn't necessarily have to be a specific grave. Maybe you just I just want the energy of that church or the energy of that cemetery or graveyard. You can really just do that. Okay? So that makes sense to have a dedicated spoon. Yeah. I have a dedicated spoon for all my spell work. I have a dedicated pestle and mortal for my spell work. I don't intertwine that as far as kitchen stuff. And then it's very important that you have a dedicated, and you consecrate it and cleanse it after every use. Okay? Even if you just take it and pour moon water over it and stick it in salt. You got to clear that energy out. So Sylvie says she's going to gather these tools and have a small kit in my trunk. Yep, that's what you should do. And watch for the poo-poo. Oh, the popo. Yeah, security. Yeah, if there's a no trespassing, don't go in it. It's just like I say when I do paranormal investigation. If there's no trespassing sign, don't do it. There's lots of haunted other places you can go to. Lots of other cemeteries you can go to. But although I've never had any issues with the police or security ever, right? I am really bad, so don't do what I do, right? Do as I say. If there's a locked gate, that is an invitation for me to go through it, to climb it, to try to get in it, to go around it. So locked cemeteries and locked gates don't do anything for me. And as women, as females, we kind of, this is so sexist to say, and sorry, but we kind of have that advantage of being not so threatened to the police. If you can go in there and the cops are like, hey, I was just doing this, I didn't see it. They're like, well, you need to leave. Most people are like, okay, fine, I'll leave, right? So put on your charms, right? Don't forget about protection when you're doing this work too. Get a lookout and heavily guarded. Yes. Exactly. So work what you got. Say, I didn't see the sign. I'm so sorry. I'll leave now. I didn't know. That kind of thing. Knowing that, we got to be cunning folk, right? We got to know what we got to do. So, types of graveyard dirt. Let me see if I can get this pulled up. So, and this is all in the handout. So, here's the thing. If you want this handout as my free gift to you, I'm doing it a little bit different. Usually I do a landing page and an opt-in and blah, 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 blah. I'm being lazy today. Because, I've been sitting on my front porch today enjoying the birds, and we've got a robin that just laid her egg and all the squirrels, so I was being totally lazy today. I'm enjoying my house. I've manifested this house over, a long time. A long time I was working on this house, and I finally got it, so I have been really enjoying this house. So there's no opt-in. This is all going to be done by me. If you want a copy of this that I'm showing you, the workbook and everything that I've been talking about, I want you to type in the word graveyard below, and I will send you a message. And then I will send this via email, this workbook to you via email, okay? But you have to type in the word graveyard, and then I will go all through the comments, and whoever has typed in the word graveyard, I'll send you a message, then we'll connect, and I'll get that workbook sent to you. So that way you don't have to type anything out, you don't have to, you know, fill out all this kind of crap. I'll do all the work on my end. You just gotta type in the word graveyard, and I'll get this to you. So I'm doing it a little bit different this time because, you know, I'm lazy. I'm lazy. So some of the graveyard dirt and uses. So, and this is in the workbook also. So most people have no idea that there are different types of graveyard dirt, and what the intentions are with that graveyard dirt, and how to use them in spell work, and the different kinds of energy. Okay, so this is going to be really fast. It's a big long list. I'm just going to go over some of them, and then this is all in the workbook. So if you have a court case, all right, and you want to win a court case, and you need assistance in your spiritual justice ritual, you want to find a judge that has been buried, right? Go to their grave and harvest the grave dirt from that lawyer or that judge, all right, and put that in use with your spell work. Now, we do baneful magic, we do kind of, this is off the wall kind of stuff that I want to tell you about. It's not all candy canes and lollipops when we do magic, especially I don't. I am a situational witch, so I do what I need to do depending on how you approach me, right? So if you want, this is a little bit more like you screw with me, I'm going to screw with you kind of thing, right? So mentally disturbed. I just went to a grave, or it's a whole graveyard for the mentally insane, and it's called the Glore Museum, and it is a mentally, well, it was an asylum. I'm a docent there, so I do tours there. And now, where it used to be, it's a whole prison now, and you can't really get, you can sort of get access to some of the graves of the people who have perished there, that were in this insane asylum. But you have to know the right people and where they're buried at. So if you want, this is so horrible, if you want to cause insanity, mental instability, that kind of thing, depression, then you would want to go to a graveyard that is situated on like in a mental institution or asylum or something like that. I don't recommend that. There's other things that you can do to remove yourself from situations than that. But this is the kind of energy that I'm telling you about, that this is why you have to be really diligent about where you get your graveyard dirt from and what you want to do with it. You have to be intentional. This is why I talked about you have to do your research on who you are gathering your dirt from. If you want to become stronger in your craft, right? Gather dirt from a practitioner of magic, like Crowley. I'm trying to think of ones who have passed through. Who else is there? Gardner. Those, you know, the old OG people, if you want to be more connected to your craft or stronger in your craft. If you want to be more brave, or if you want more strength or quick thinking, or getting someone to obey or kind of follow the orders and the rules, right? Then you want to get the dirt from a grave from a soldier. All right. If you want to honor your pet, or you want to do pet communications, or you need to have loyalty in your, practice, in your spell work, then you want to get dirt from a pet. And I don't know if there's any pet cemeteries around here. There were in Austin, but I'm not sure if they have them where you guys are at. But that's interesting, right? If you know of someone who is a really good gambler, right? Maybe you want to go hit the lottery. Maybe you want to go to the casino. Maybe you're like, all right, then I'm going to do some spiritual work and some spell work around hitting those numbers. Then you want to put in the energy of the dirt that you collected from a gambler. All right. So does that make sense? And if you want to heal someone, then you want to get graveyard dirt from a nurse or a doctor's grave. Yeah, Jen's like, what can I do? You can get really dark with some of these graves, yeah, right? They have graveyards of murderers, and it's just don't go that dark. Don't go that dark, y'all. All right, so let me show you a couple of things that I have, and then we're going to talk about how to contact me, how to work with me, and then the freebie that I'm going to be offering. So this is, as you all know, I'm from, well, not from, but I just moved to Texas. I lived in Texas for about 5-6 years. And as anybody knows, this is another one that you want to talk about. If you want to be a leader, or you want to be a heroine, or, hero, or, heroine's journey or something. Oh, Jen said her friend went to Edgar Allan Poe's grave and got some nice, super nice. See how you're connecting the energy of the person in that grave, and you want to put that magic in there? So can you imagine getting dirt from, like, I don't know, Jim Morrison, right? That'd be really cool. So everybody in Texas knows about Ann Richards. She was a phenomenal female empowerment leader when it came to really everything in her life. So, she was buried in the Texas State Cemetery in Austin, right? And she was part of the Senate. She kicked ass. So this is part that I gathered from her graveyard. And if you don't know who she is, please look her up. She is such an inspiration in the Senate, especially when she was dealing with the good old boys, right? Because there's still good old boy mentality in Texas. So she was very outspoken. She was a female leader. She was in power. She was in politics. She made some amazing changes in women's rights. And she was not to be messed with. Right? So if you want to learn about her, Ann Richards, she is has an amazing story. I would love to be able to really visit, there's so many of them though, powerful women's graves, and just do a whole collection of female empowerment, high priestess, graveyard dirt, and just have a whole collection of them. And so this is another one. This is what I'm talking about as far as containers. This is just a little jelly sample. Actually, I think I got this is so odd, from Cracker Barrel, right? So as witches, we repurpose stuff. So this comes from a graveyard when I did graveyard workings in the class at Bartlett, Texas. We did a paranormal weekend. And I taught this. We actually went to these graves and went to the people, the townspeople, the founders of that town, found their grave, did the rituals, did everything we needed to do, honored them, and gathered dirt. So this brings back the memories of that weekend, and also this is one of the founders of that city, Bartlett, Texas. So those are my show and tells for that. You can really do a lot of work with graveyard magic. So any questions, because we only have about 15 minutes left. I'm going to scroll up. Well, let me see if I can get. All right, I think I can copy all of this stuff in the comment section. I think that was everybody. Maybe didn't copy everything. If you are interested in joining my free Facebook group, join that here. You probably hear my dog, she's scratching. And all of these links are in the comment section and in the pin section, I think. And so don't forget, if you want the free workbook that is coming up, just type in graveyard. And then I have my Master Your Magic 5-day challenge that is coming up, and we start June 27th, and I am going to drop that link in there too. So there's a couple ways that you can work with me. Join the Academy, right? High Priestess Academy. That's $47 a month. That is a membership fee. We have coaching and all kinds of good stuff. Yesterday we went live and we did a whole thing on Litha. Talked about that. And then I have a couple one-on-one spots, and then probably just 1 or 2 left. And then my free group, if you're interested in binging on free content. And then also my challenge is coming up the 27th. So there's so many ways to work with me. I have one-on-one coaching if you need one-on-one help getting powerful in your magic and creating the magic that works for you. I'm available. I am here for you. And so you're not feeling alone. You're not feeling like you have to do this by yourself. You're feeling like I need some accountability. None of the things that I am reading or watching resonates with me. I need someone who's going to teach me outside of the box magic. I can help you teach how to manifest money, home, love. I've done it all. I have manifested this home. I have manifested leaving my job, making this my career. I have manifested this house, my dream home. It's possible. You just have to step into your magic and your power and find that works for you, right? So like I said, I teach weird stuff. You won't find this stuff online. I'm all about spirit communication, paranormal stuff, demonology stuff, and working with dark goddesses where you find your internal power. It's not all light and love. So I am the goddess and the witch that works in both realms, in the light and the dark, and that is hard to find nowadays. The duality is important. So any final questions? Did you guys find this interesting? Right? I hope y'all found this interesting. It's a little bit different. We want to thank Christina for hosting this again. It's always such a pleasure to be around her. She's so fabulous. I love her. I got to hang out with her and the Snakey this weekend. You should see the I'm terrified of snakes, y'all. Yeah, I love snakes, but I'm terrified of snakes, right? And so she kind of helped me get over my fear of handling snakes. So, you know, I'm like, I just want to come back and see the snake. Yeah, very interesting. All right, so if you have any questions or you need help or guidance, send me a friend request, send me a message. I am here to help you where you are in your magic right now, and I have all kinds of things that I can place you in. All right, I don't want you to feel like you're alone in your magic. I don't want you to, you know, just waste your time in the magic. You know, I want you less bitching, more witching. I want you to get your hands dirty. I want you to learn this stuff so you can empower your life through magic. All right? I don't want you to feel alone. I am here. I can place. I don't even care if you don't have any money. You're just like, you know, right now, I just don't know what to do. I can guide you to some of my free stuff, and I have free stuff to higher end stuff. All right? It just depends on where you're at, where you're comfortable at, and how much transformation you want, and are you ready to dive in? I have programs all over the place. And then my school is Madam Z's School of Witchery. You can find all of that on my website, and I'm going to leave that there. And if you need some, spiritual counseling, if you need a session, a tarot reading, I also offer those too. All right. I have been a work call. I will have to go back and finish. Yeah, the replay will be up for a while. Once I take this down, it will become a paid content only, and this will go into the academy, and you will have to pay to watch the replay. But the replays will be up for a while. Okay. All right, everyone. I think that's it. Any final questions? If not, then I am going to go dig in the dirt. Post in the group if you, harvest any dirt, and tell me a little bit about the graveyard and the grave that you harvested from. Do your research. Connect to that grave. All right, everyone. Whoever wants this free workbook, make sure you type graveyard in the comments, and I will send this to you. All right, everyone. Witch on, and we'll see you around. Bye.